part in the lake,
which burning with fire.
which burning with fire and brimstone, which is the second death.
Yeah, so all of you guys that are playing games, all of you are going to be a part of that second death, and that's going to involve the nuclear destruction. Okay, that's going to be the ultimate destruction you guys are going to get caught into. And even you individuals that we've came across that, or that maybe we've never came across, or seen you on the YouTube somewhere, never got to know you, that left the truth, you guys are going to get tossed into that furnace. A lot of you guys are going to be destroyed. Okay? Because the scripture says, no man having put his hand to the plow, looking back is fit for the kingdom. And it also says it in the book of Hebrews, the 10th chapter. We're not unto them that draw back into perdition. Let's get that. Hebrews 10, I believe you can start with 31 or something like that. Ooh, it's cool. Hebrews 10.
10 and 44. For ye had compassion on me in my bonds.
I'd say we'll begin with verse 30. It's all of those kids, they're all of age, man. So know better.
Hebrews 10 and...
Yeah.
Where was I? 30.
Mm-hmm.
For we know him that have said, vengeance belongeth unto me. I will recompense, saith the Lord Yahawashi. And again, the Lord Yahawashi shall judge his people. I'm on the right one.
You know what? It's
38.
There's actually 38. But you know what you could do? You could start with 31 and then jump to 38.
It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power. But call to remembrance the former days, in which after you were illuminated.
Right, so it is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the Lord. And all of you individuals out there that are not taking this thing into consideration, I'm talking about certain brothers that are in the faith already. You're not doing your videos on, you're not on your videos, you're not on point with your videos and stuff like that. You're gonna have to get on point with that. Okay? To the best of your ability, because certain guys are slacking. And it's not good. It's not a good thing to see. Because what that really means is that you're slacking in the faith. The amount of videos you do determines the amount of faith you have in the belief in this thing. Okay? Now you got certain brothers that can't do a video every single day, but you gotta make that effort, man. You gotta try to make that effort. As the scripture says. What is it? It says
give diligence to make your calling and election sure.
That's what you're supposed to be doing. Because you want to get the hell out of here, right? Well, you got to do the work. Go on.
It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power, but call to remembrance the former days, in which after you were illuminated, ye endured a great fight of afflictions.
Keep going.
Partly whilst you were made a gazing stock, both by reproaches and afflictions, and partly whilst you became companions of them that were so used.
Right, and you got guys that'll fall out of that because other people looking at them a certain way, or other people flicking them up with a middle finger or laughing at them. So we've been there, done that. And we still here. We're still remaining further in this ministry, man. Go on.
For ye had compassion on me in my bonds, and took joyfully the spoiling of your goods, knowing in yourselves that ye have a heaven, a better and enduring substance.
Exactly, go on.
Cast not away therefore your confidence, which we had, great recompense of reward.
Which the word confidence means with faith. The word con, which means with, and fidence from the word fidelity, which means faith. So we're not supposed to cast off the faith that the Lord gave unto us. The Lord said that He has given us an unction that we know of all things, and therefore knowing the ability of faith. All right, go on.
For ye have need of patience, that after ye have done the will of the Most High, ye might receive the promise.
Right, you might receive the promise. What is the promise? The kingdom of heaven. Going all the way back to the covenant, which was made back to Abraham. Okay, and going all the way down to the 12 sons. Jacob first, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and then the 12 sons. Go on.
For yet a little while, and he that shall come will come and will not tarry.
Yeah.
Now the just shall live by faith.
Right, the just
This
shall
is what
live
you
by
wanted.
faith. Yeah, this is the one right here. Yep.
But if any man draw back, my soul shall have no pleasure in him.
Right, that's the point. Any man draw back, my soul shall
Have no pleasure in him.
Exactly. So you can't drop out of this thing. You gotta endure to the very end of this thing. Okay. There's no such thing as, oh, I'm gonna just be lackadaisical about it and just do my part. No, there's no doing your part. You gotta do the Lord's part. What did the Lord tell you to do? The Lord said, give diligence to make your calling and your election sure. In the book of Baruch, it says, it was in you to go astray from the Lord, but being that you found the Lord, seek him 10 times more. So that's the order, man. That's the order run down. Go on, bro.
But we are not of them that draw back.
Right, but we are not of them that draw back. Meaning we're not going to fall back into the world. There's no need to fall back into the world. There's nothing in the world. Okay, this world is getting ready to go down. You see it. Protesting's the law. Now they're talking about, oh, how they're going to bring forth the medication, the vaccines. I can't say the other word because
that's the right word, medication, because that thing that'll put you on some next level, bro. Planet, bro.
Yeah, and not only that, it's going to take away that God gene that you got in you, disconnect you from your maker, because they know that Jake's pineal gland is on a whole nother level. So in order for them to do away with for them to do away with your connection with your maker, they got to do away with the God gene. Okay, go on, brother.
But we are not of them who draw back unto perdition.
Right.
But of them that believe to the saving of the soul.
Right, but unto them that believe unto the saving of the souls. We're not of those that draw back into perdition. What does the word perdition mean? Just another way of saying destruction. You see, so we ain't going to be doing that, man. We're going to continue on and further this ministry the best way we can. Go on.
How you doing? Okay. Sorry.
I'm all right, man. Yeah.
Sorry to disturb you.
No, that's all right. We take questions.
No, carry on.
Yeah.
It's more of a question like trying to have a better understanding. Yeah? We share a lot of similitudes. Yeah? As human beings.
Are you a Muslim?
I'm a Muslim.
I thought so, yeah, because you're coming in that spirit.
Okay. So I believe that every single one of us wants the truth, wants to find the truth.
Well, we have the final truth, and I'm going to explain why we have the final truth, because everything that's happening on this planet right now was already foretold and spoken of in the Bible. And you said something about how we have similar beliefs. We don't have similar beliefs because the Muslims believe, and that's not to be disrespectful, but to come to some understanding, right? Because what the Muslims believe, as well as the Christians believe, which, you know, you could call us Christians too, but we would consider ourselves the real Christians, because the self-proclaimed Christians of the day, they don't go by the traditions of what the Bible is actually saying. What they're saying is like what you guys are saying, is that anybody can be, you know, a part of the religion, the religion of the Most High, as you know, Islam is and Christianity is. But what the Bible is saying alone, which is our doctrine, is that only these people can be delivered or saved. Okay, these are the people of God only. And you're going to have an election that are going to save these people only. That's what the Bible teaches, to be exact.
Okay, so nobody else could be saved.
No other nation. But I'm going to make it fair as well. I'm going to say this as well. Now, you may be an East Indian, you may be an Elamite, or you may be an Arab, right? But if your lineage goes back to these people, then you may have a chance of making it, because you're a descendant of a man by the name of Jacob, which was given the promise and the covenant. So if you're of another nation now, a complete total other nation, you're not going to be saved. And the nations that remain, I'm going to just be honest with you, they're going to be servants and slaves under the righteous people that were given the covenant and the commandments thereof. That's what's going to happen when it's all is said and done.
I appreciate what you're saying, but I want to go back a little bit more than that. I want to go back to the Creator before the creation came. Just one of the reasons why, because everything stimulates from the oneness
Shalom, brother.
of the Creator.
Yeah.
No problem, I know you're Korean,
Yeah.
So, the foundation of belief plays a significant importance to the later part. And when I say we have a similitude, is that we know that God is all seeing, all hearing, all knowing.
Okay, yeah,
These are natural instincts that we all have. This is not about an argument. It's not about who is eloquent in speech. It's more to do with understanding the commands of the Creator as He describes Himself.
And that's a good point. That's a very good point, because the commands of the Creator are written in the Bible. You see, the thing of the world today, this world that we're living in right now, in particular the Western world, because we're in the West right now as it stands, this world goes contrary to the commands of God. And that's a very good question. And where are you from, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm originally from Morocco.
Okay.
So my ancestors are from the Berber, the Moors.
Yeah, but that's all right, because the Moors, I don't need to cut you, sorry, but I'm kind of a bit excited that you said that, because the Moors originally were obviously so-called black people, and they were Israelites. I don't want to really use the term black, because we're not black, we're Israelites.
Yeah.
So you obviously descend from a man by the name of Jacob, because we're the people of Jacob. So in all reality, you're connected with this book. This is why you're here. You didn't have to come here.
But we know pious people like the wife of Noah or the wife of Lot. These were amongst the righteous, but their destination would be hell because some of them rejected the commands of God. So I don't look at lineage. I understand what you're saying, and I respect that. I respect where you're coming from. I don't believe that it's the lineage that plays a part. It does play a part in the influence, but it doesn't play a part in the conclusion as to where we're going to end up. So for example, my structure of belief is that it don't matter what color, what background you come from in terms of culture. It's about who fears God most. You understand, yeah? This is where we come from. And one of the reasons why, because when we start to indulge into the names and attributes of God, because nowadays we have the Hindu who comes and says he has the truth, and the Sikh says he has the truth, the Christian says he has the truth, Judaism says it has the truth, the Muslim says it has the truth, atheism says it has the truth,
Even science,
even evolution comes and says it has the truth. As we're people, like, we have to go and bring the food home to eat and supply for our family, we have to also go and look for the truth, because God gives us faculties in seeing and hearing, and He gives us the understanding.
But you know, though, with that being said, and that's a very good point, because all religions and people of different backgrounds have said they have the truth. But there is a truth. There is a truth. And I just want to just read this real quick.
All right, this is John 4:20. Our fathers worshipped in this mountain, and ye say that in Jerusalem is the place where men ought to worship. Yahawashi saith unto the woman, this is the Samaritan woman, believe me, the hour cometh when you shall neither in this mountain nor yet at Jerusalem worship the Father. Ye worship ye know not what.
Right.
We know what we worship. For salvation is of the Jews.
Which we are, which all of us are. We are the original Jews. But I just want to just I just want to just let you know what you were saying about it. It doesn't matter what background you is. It does matter, and the reason why it does matter, because you got to understand something. When you read the scriptures talk about as I've mentioned, I've made mention of Jacob and Esau, not Jacob and Esau, but Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It does matter in the sense of this, on how you have the people that I've mentioned were given the covenant, and the covenant went all the way down to their 12 sons. So the people that the Lord made a covenant with, those are the people that He's recognizing right now. This is why the Messiah came and died on the cross. What was the purpose of the dying of the cross? The purpose is to reconcile the Israelites, because the Israelites, let's get that in Romans the 11th chapter. Please get me in Romans the 11th chapter. Because our people, obviously through a process of time as the Israelites, we've worshipped other things. We was going into other belief systems and all of the above. But you've always, and people will say, well, the Jews stopped believing, so it paved the way for everybody to believe. No, not necessarily, because there was always a remnant of people that did believe amongst the Israelites. And okay. Hold on, what you got, brother? I just wanted you to read Romans the 11th chapter.
This is Romans 11. I say then, have the Most High cast away His people?
Right.
Most High forbids.
Right.
For I am also an Israelite of the seed of Abraham.
Right.
Of the tribe of Benjamin.
Of the tribe of Benjamin. So the Apostle Paul obviously he was letting you know, look, I'm an Israelite from the tribe of Benjamin. The Lord hasn't cast away his people. So in a sense, this is what people say. Even the Christians will say the same thing. They'll say, well, you Israelites, you basically went off. You stopped believing. So this paves the way for all nations to believe now. This paves the way for all nations to get a part of the salvation. But no, it was always the Israelites. Okay, it's like what it is right now. What we're also teaching is also that all of our people ain't gonna make it. A lot of our people are gonna be destroyed, but the elect are gonna return to the Lord, and they're gonna be delivered, and they're gonna set forth the nation as it was back during the old time.
Well, you know, just a compliment, yeah.
Yeah.
Your etiquette and your mannerism is very well served, yeah. And
Thank you.
Because sometimes you come across certain people, either they get very rude or aggressive, or they point, or they
It used to be like that.
Yeah. No, but it's good because I think the maturity, and I think we're trying to seek the same goal here. So I think it's good for me to compliment that. On the other hand, just to mention, there's a good point that you made, because from the children of Israel, if you look at them and prophets and messengers that came to them, they destroyed many prophets and messengers.
Yeah, they
killed
did.
prophets and messengers.
Yeah.
And they disobeyed commands of God. So there's two lights that shine on this. Is that they are people also that have the curse of God upon them. You understand? As well as some of them
We can agree.
were chosen as a result of God.
You're right.
Okay? What the point that I want to make is that from the attributes of God, and I want to go back before the message of the prophets came, going back to the Creator himself in his attributes, in his names and attributes, in his all-seeing, all-hearing, all-knowing. So he is the abizer, either he brings you away from the people or brings the people away from you. He is the immutable. Yeah, there are different qualities that he himself attributes to himself. So he's the creator, he's the provider. These are from his names and attributes. And one of the points that I want to make about this is that in the Bible, and I believe that you believe the whole Bible from the top to the bottom.
Oh yes. Yeah.
There's nothing that you reject in that book. Yeah? But the question that you need to question yourself, and it's not a form of a disrespect. If it comes across disrespectful, I apologize. That's not what my intentions are. But my intentions is that for seeking the truth, whatever it may be, whatever is out there, not to, Islam, some of the Muslims haven't represented Islam correctly. And I think that goes to every form of religion. But the truth is out there, and whatever it may be, we need to find it. And in order to understand it, maybe I need to highlight and shine a light on a particular chapter. And some people may change the chapter, but the chapter's about, and first I'll ask a question. Can anybody beat God?
No.
Physically?
No, of course not.
Never.
Of course not.
So there's a chapter in where Jacob fights and wrestles with God.
Well, he doesn't wrestle with God, he wrestles with the angel.
Okay, but now this is your interpretation. We're going to read the verse. If you can read the verse and listen to the end of the verse as to who the description of that individual person is. Because when you have something saying at the end of it, if we can get to it, or I can read it, I can read a part of it, yeah?
Yeah, give me that. Yeah, give me that, yeah.
So, it
Because
starts
there's
off in
only-
Genesis
Yeah, that's what we're
32:22,
That's what we're going to read.
32,
Yeah.
the New International Version. Or
Well,
do you want to go to the
get
old version?
Get the
Because there's a new
KJV.
version, there's an old version.
We don't do the new.
Because the KJV.
Twist it.
Okay, so if we go
Yeah.
to the old version, then in terms of the interpretation of that old version, we know from the grammar and from the Hebrew language, we can bring the definition out in terms of, when I mean the definition, I mean linguistically, yeah? Because words can be misinterpreted.
Yeah.
So here in 22, it says, that night Jacob got up and took to his wives 2 female servants and his 11 sons, and across the ford of Jacob. After that, he had sent him across the stream. He sent over his possessions. So Jacob was left alone, and the man wrestled with him until daybreak.
Okay.
When the man saw that he could not overpower Jacob, he touched the socket of Jacob's hip, meaning he dislocated it.
Yep.
So that his hip was wrenched as he wrestled with the man. Then the man said, this is God saying to Jacob, let me go, for it is daybreak.
But
But
you know
Jacob
what,
replies. Let me. Sorry, I don't.
No,
I don't mean to.
go,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now Jacob replied, I will not let you go unless you bless me. Yeah? So now, Jacob, he answered. He says, then the man said, what is your name? Will no longer be called Jacob. Your name will no longer be called Jacob, but Israel. We're going to call you Israel from now on.
I know.
Because you have struggled with God
Yeah.
and with humans and have overcome them. Jacob said, please tell me your name. But he replied, why do you ask my name? Then he said, blessed him there.
But you know what though? Could I just
It's not, I'm just gonna, this is the last point.
Yeah,
and then,
okay.
Sorry,
Okay.
Sorry.
No, it's alright. You got it, man.
So Jacob called to a place, is it the Peniel?
Yeah, you can get that same precept.
Yeah? Saying,
He's good.
it is because I saw God face to face.
What verse are you on?
Number 30.
What chapter? What chapter?
Genesis 32.
Yeah. So he said, this is what he said, saying, it is because I saw God face to face, and yet my life was spared. The sun rose above him, and he passed this particular place, and he was limping because of his hip. Therefore, this day the Israelites do not eat the tender attached to the socket of the hip, because of the socket of Jacob's hip, that it was touched near the tender. So, what we understand from this, and I just want to give an understanding, the creator and the creation. In fact, the creator and the creation is a prophet. Jacob is a prophet of the creator. He is asking God, who are you? He says, no, God asked Jacob, who are you? So now the creator doesn't know the creation. Jacob replies, and he says to him, I am Jacob. Now he says to him, I'm going to call you Israel. Now Jacob turns to the creator and says to the creator, who are you?
Oh, that wasn't the Most High.
Yeah, that's what I want to get down to.
No, that wasn't the Most High.
Okay.
That was get the
Okay, there's
break it down.
Okay,
Let me.
I want to
That's
read
the
it
point
from
I
the
wanna get
verse.
to.
I want to read it from the verse, and then we can interpretate and bring up everybody's interpretation.
Because the scriptures say no man can see my face and live.
Right.
So,
Okay.
so that he wasn't literally wrestling with the Most High.
No.
obviously.
Okay, there's other stuff in the Bible that
And if you
also
can,
has the same kind of symbolization, like thou shalt not
Okay.
tempt thy
You
God,
get
and there
that,
was
and also get
temptation.
Psalms
And we
80,
can go into all of that.
verses 80.
That's neither here or there. I just want to stay on to this point that I'm making, yeah? So now the creator says to his creation, who are you? He doesn't know who his Lord is. Now the creation says to his creator, who are you? And he doesn't know who his creation is. So now you get an understanding that this is in itself is a contradiction, because God knows everything and anyone and everyone. God, from my description, is that not a leaf falls off a tree, but he has knowledge of it. He sees the black ant on the black stone in the black pictures of the night.
Yeah.
The atom. Nothing that you can do, even what you whisper to yourself, he knows of it. This is the attributes of God. Now, if you listen to the verses, there are some interpretations which are going to say angel, but I said continue reading from the verse. Read the Bible.
We're going to read the whole thing,
please.
but
Yeah.
what I want to get into is the meaning of the word, because when you look, in certain parts of the Bible, like when you read Genesis, I believe it's Genesis chapter 2. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but it makes mention of the Lord God in all caps. So when you look into the true language of that, his real name is mentioned because the actual power has a real name, and his son has a name. Okay, which we'll get there. We'll get there when we get there. But the point I'm making is you have in the book of Genesis you have higher case God and you have lower case God. So let's get into this right here.
All right, the word that was used for God in that passage that you read, Genesis 32, is Strong's H430, which says Elohim.
Elohim.
And the meaning of that word is rulers or judges, divine ones, angels, or gods with the lowercase.
Right. Oh, gods. So let's
read the verse. Let's read the verse.
No, let's break this down. I'm gonna break it down.
Yeah.
Now, the angels are gods. They can be godlike because of their power versus the power of the physical being. But I just want to just read this to show you further what I'm talking about.
So like, can I just say one more thing? It also says, as I said, gods with a lowercase g, and it says godlike one,
Right,
meaning
godlike.
they have godlike qualities.
Yes.
Precept.
Nothing is unto him.
Listen.
This is where I dispute about that. Sorry, because God says that He is the one and only, the absolute and eternal. It's in there. It's in your book.
Yeah,
there's no
God. Right.
There is nothing.
Yeah, but the point.
This is what it says in parts of the Bible. It says there is nothing co-equal or comparable unto Him.
Of course,
To
right.
raise something that's been created, to give it the equivalent of control and power.
But brother, can I just interject?
It's now an association of a partner. I'm not.
No, that's all right. But I just want to just quickly interject. Hey, we're talking, man. That's how it gets, you know. It's all right. But yeah, the point that we're dealing with though is what we just read, because what Jacob was wrestling, as we all say, he was wrestling an angel. Now, an angel, like I've said before, I'll say it again. It has more power than us, the physical being. Like you have spirits. Okay, like for example, right? All of us have dealt with what's it called? You know when you're sleeping, right?
Sleep paralysis.
Sleep paralysis. Now, sleep paralysis it's not an actual disease. What it is, and if you can perceive what I'm saying, what it is that sometimes when you're halfway asleep, sometimes like certain spirits that you don't see, like for example, some people say that they've seen ghosts and things of that nature. So there's entities that you don't see that trouble you when you're half asleep.
What he wrestled with was a man. That was an angel.
Right. It was a man, but it was angel-like.
This is the proof.
Okay.
Go on, bro.
Hebrews 13 verse 1. Let brotherly love continue. Be not forgetful to entertain strangers.
Right.
For thereby some have entertained angels
unawares. Yeah.
Okay.
So
if we can go back to the verse that I read out, I want to see what it says from your scriptures.
You have angels that can come in the form of a man, because an angel or spiritual being is of a different entity, so they can come in different formats. But we can't. We're only just one form for this one dimension.
Because what I've done, I've also looked at the Gideons, and they come in many parts of a understanding and an interpretation of the Bible itself. And in one part of the Gideons, they mention to this verse that it's actually God, the Creator, and not the creation. Sorry. Yeah. So this is clearly mentioned, and these are the authors of the book. And sometimes when you say to yourself, when you go to a hospital and you're looking at the surgeon, who knows better? The one that's having the operation done on him, or the one that's processing the operation? And the reason why I bring this, because these are the people that are interpreting and saying that actually this is the Creator. But if you can read it, please, I'd really appreciate it.
But what time period are you talking about concerning the Gideons?
So the Gideons are, as you know, they put the Bible together, correct?
Yes.
And there's maybe 63 or more parts.
Well, really, I'll say this. What you had King James, right? You had King James, which he was a so-called black man, as you found out. Yeah. He had 40 plus scholars that was under him, and they all understood the Hebrew and the Greek. That's why when you go into certain Bible verses, especially more so the Old Testament, it's more the Hebrew. Shalom, it's more the Hebrew, but when you go into the New Testament, it's all Greek. Some of it's Latin as well. So in order for them to compile, which you get the term Bible, the word Bible means to compile the books. So they've compiled the books, they've gotten to the Latin, they've gotten into the Greek, and they've gotten into the Hebrew, and they've translated it into the English language so that we can basically read it today. So this is why it's written, sometimes it's written in Hebrew and the Greek or in the Latin. So when we look at these words,
the first.
Just let me finish my point.
Okay,
so when you go into the scriptures and you read it into the Hebrew and the Latin, there lies the pure definition of the word. So when it said God in there, it was referring to the powers on a lower level, the angels.
Right. So this is Psalms 105 verse 6. Oh, you see that Abraham, his servant, the children of Jacob, is chosen.
Yes.
He is the Lord our God. His judgments are in all the earth.
Right.
He have remembered his covenant forever, the word which he commanded to 1,000 generations.
Thank you.
Which covenant he made with Abraham and his oath unto Isaac,
yes,
and confirmed the same unto Jacob for a law, and to Israel for an everlasting covenant,
yes,
saying, unto thee will I give the land of Canaan, the lot of your inheritance.
Which was the land of Israel.
Right.
So, can I elaborate on what you was reading as well, if you don't mind? Because that's what I was going into earlier before about the covenant. The Lord is only concerned with the people that He established the everlasting covenant. So when you came here earlier, and I said, look, the only people that can be saved are these people here. That's because He made a covenant with these people. So if let's just say the Lord said, okay, I'm going to allow every nation to make it.
I agree, there was a covenant.
Okay, but let's just say the Lord allowed every nation to take a part of all of this, all right? In terms of these, let's just say the other nations were a part of the salvation like these people are. Then that would make God a liar. Because it says in the book of, what is it? I believe it's in Amos 3, or somewhere where it says, the Lord is not a man that he should not change, therefore you sons of Jacob are not consumed. Okay, go on, brother.
Psalms 147 verse 19. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He have not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord.
Yeah, because when Moses went to Mount Sinai for 40 days and 40 nights, he went and got what? The law, statutes, and commandments. And who did he return those laws to? He returned them back to the same people that he made a covenant with. Because the Israelites ultimately, they were supposed to show the example to the world on how to conduct yourself and basically keeping these laws. But that's not happening right now. What's happening right now, which you're including in that, whether you know or not, you're an Israelite as well, right? The reason why that's not happening right now because we're under the curses because we disobeyed his laws.
Right.
That's why our people went into captivity. This is why people are struggling in many ways, in different ways, okay, as it stands right now, because we discontinued from the covenant. But the Lord established a better covenant, which we'll get into that later on. Go on, brother.
This is, I'm going to go now, yeah?
I want to say this one thing and then I'm going to let you go. This is James 1:8. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Yeah, because you have to understand is that that's the whole reason why our Messiah came 2,000 years ago and he died on the cross, was to reconcile us back unto our God again. Because he did cast us away because of our sins when he broke the covenant. But because he loved us so much, because you hear the Christians say this, for God so loved the world and he gave his only begotten son. That's like their main, main verse that they always bring out. Well, our God did love us so much because he made promises to our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and to Jacob. And he only came to the covenants with us. So that's why we say that there's no way that Ishmael could have been a part of that, because he's the odd one out. He's what you call a heathen. Muhammad, he came from that line. He was an Ishmaelite. He came from that lineage. So there's no way that Moses established his covenant with Ishmael. Because he commanded Hagar, who was the mother of Ishmael. He said to Abraham, cast that one woman away, that I will establish the covenant unto Isaac, the son that you will have with Sarah, and then unto his son, which will be Jacob. So that's that lineage. There was always a line that God dealt with, and there's no way. That's why I said the double-minded man is unstable. He's not going to change from that. God, there's no mistakes with him. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate your politeness. I appreciate